She's real strong, whoever it is.
Yes, I'm doing a story.
Right? Right now.
With video.
Yeah.
Right. Did you suffer? Paranormal.
Were you young when you died? I mean, like, let's say in your 20s. Were you in your 20s when you died?
We're still going through the evidence that we captured overnight with our live paranormal hunt at the River City Saloon in Old Sacramento, but possibly the most compelling evidence thus far has already been captured, and it was through a cell phone camera, my cell phone camera. I took a picture in the cellar beneath the bar. I went down there, and I want to show you this series of pictures because the first one that you're going to see here shows pretty much nothing. Take a look. Okay, so that is in the cellar. You see some stuff flying around, but there's nothing there, correct? Now, the next picture, about a second later, you are going to see what appears to be an apparition right in the center. To me, it's a person wearing a hat, wearing a dress, and holding something. I had our web producer, Paul Janes, enhance it. That is the enhanced picture, and he has already had a viewer reach out to us saying it looks like a woman holding a baby.
Like a profile shot, right sideways.
Yeah. Now, at the very bottom of your screen, we have kind of a banner there, but if that were removed, you would see that it looks like a dress. You can see her waist. It looks like she's, there you go. It looks like she's looking down at the child with the hat. It's really an incredible picture. You know, Kiba, you pointed out that, you know, it could be something similar to pointing out faces in the clouds, but that's very defined to me.
Well, the hat is very clear.
Right.
You can see how that could be a hat for sure, and I see her body, the shape of her body.
The thing that interests me, if we can bring it back on camera here, and I'll explain this, leading up to that, we had made contact with a female spirit in the stairwell at the other end of the bar. And through the course of using these instruments, she told us her last name was Murphy, that she worked there when it was a brothel. And we asked questions. You know, did you have kids? The answer was no. Were you ever pregnant? She said yes. And with the PX device, where they can share words, we got the words rabbit and suffer, and so really interesting stuff. And I hear that rabbit is a reference to pregnancy back in the day, so maybe something didn't work out with her and she just wanted to show that she's with her baby. I don't know. I keep an open mind to this stuff. We also had a bit of an interaction with this spirit on the stairwell where we were talking about, she had a great sense of humor. She was talking about what she charged customers. Take a look. Are you gonna charge me more than 50 bucks?
Oh, yeah.
15. 15? I can do 15.
Wow, where are we going?
I might even have that right now.
They were joking.
Yeah, we were joking.
Yeah, right.
But clearly this this spirit, if there was one there, had a sense of humor and was friendly. Anyway, this is it was an interesting investigation all around. We've had a lot of stuff happen. We heard sounds. We had a psychic there who saw shadows moving around.
Explain, though, who you were with. You just didn't decide to go. You were with a group who does this all the time.
Right. I was with a psychic who's a local psychic, and she was there with us, and we were also with the California Haunts paranormal team. And they have all sorts of gear and cameras set up, so they have a lot of evidence to review and go through. But just based on what we've seen so far and what I have experienced and how I feel right now,
you're still nauseous?
A little bit. It's starting to wear off. I'm starting to feel a little more normal.
You feel drained.
After encountering that person, apparently, the female apparition for 20 minutes, it made me feel nauseous and sick, and I had to go outside, and it's kind of stuck with me ever since. I go into all these things as a bit of a skeptic. Even though I have had experiences in the past, I still treat each case in an isolated form. You know, like, okay, we might experience nothing here, but we had stuff happen, and we're going to post all of our evidence on news10.net, and keep an eye out for that on the Facebook page too.
I like it.
That is a stairwell that apparently is haunted by a female, and we were actually able to get some information out of her using something called the dowsing rods and PX device. The PX device is an electronic device with pre-programmed words that ghosts can apparently use to talk to us. And right there, I'm sorry that is a sideways shot, but you can see me on the stairs at the top of your screen, and in a second here I slow-mo the picture to show you some white anomalies that are traveling near me, near my pants, and going up the stairs. These are not insects. This is not dust, and the reason I can tell you that, if you look closely, you can actually see that you can see through these. You can see through them as it goes across the screen. I put this in extreme slow motion right there. You saw it there. We had an interesting encounter with this woman who apparently died in her 20s, who worked there when it was a brothel, and we were able to communicate with her using those dowsing rods. Look at this interaction. Did you work up here when this was a brothel? Did you work upstairs? Whoa.
That's pretty strong.
Whoa.
That's really strong.
I'm getting goosebumps right now. So when those rods cross, when they cross in that direction, the paranormal team told me it means yes. So when you ask a question and it goes like that, it means yes. No is when it goes the other way. So when I asked a question like, are you the only spirit here? It went to no. That sound you were hearing was the PX device and the words coming through. And that's how we were able to determine that this woman was named Miss Murphy.
So in that shot, you were the ones holding it, because it's one thing when someone else is, they could be moving it, but you were not.
I was skeptical.
Right.
When I saw the woman holding it, I wanted to hold it for myself and make sure that she wasn't moving it. When I was holding it, they were moving on their own. This is just one of those places throughout Old Sacramento that dates back to the 1850s. This building has served a number of purposes. And by the way, we moved locations. We were up at the bar at the top of the hour. Now we are actually underneath the River City Saloon here in Old Sacramento. And this is one of those places that the staff actually does not like to come here, to this back storage room. They get a pretty creepy feeling back here. You see some of those mannequins in the back, and we actually had some activity here not too long ago where we were doing a session and asking for whoever's back here to make a noise, and actually the owner, Sean, who is here with me, lost his balance. He was standing right here. Can you come up here and just tell me exactly what happened?
We were just talking right over here, and it wasn't like someone pushed against me. It was just like all of a...
Like that?
Yeah, like
right.
that. But I did that one.
Yeah, and I had asked for them to make a sound,
right.
and that's what they did. Somehow they made him lose his balance. He flew back there. We also have this PX device, and I want to point this out. This is a device where apparently spirits can interpret words, and the words come out through this device. Now, it has been quiet for the past hour. We've had nothing from this. But then whenever we get some activity, this thing will just go off, and you'll hear all sorts of words coming out of this, and we've been able to communicate that way. And we certainly have had some interesting experiences. We've got our web producer out here, Paul Janes, too. Paul, I'm going to bring you in real quick. If you can just, yeah, look out, look out.
Tight space.
Tell me what you experienced earlier.
Well, I was up behind the bar and we were doing an EVP session, and I was the only one inside, and I heard from the back hallway walking around, I heard two distinct knocks, and I thought it was the team's psychic who was back there doing her own session,
right,
until I looked outside and saw her walking outside by the news truck.
Yeah. Paul's also been taking a lot of pictures, and yes, we do have a psychic here, and you'll want to stick around for the 6 a.m. hour because we're actually going to move back to that stairwell. We're going to do a live session with those rods and see if we can communicate with that female spirit that is apparently out there and seems to like me very much. I told you to try to make contact with this woman again. Is she still here?
She is still here.
She is still here?
Yes.
Okay, so we want to see how these rods work. Ask her some questions, see if she's still with us.
Were you a redhead?
Now, when they cross like that, that means yes, right? And if they go outward, it's no.
If they go outward all the way like this, thank you. Show them no, please, thank you.
Okay.
That is no. Neutral is when they're in the middle.
Yeah, we don't know her name, but she has told us that her last name is Murphy.
Right.
And that came through the PX device. The name Murphy came through. We said, is that your last name? And it said yes. We haven't got her first name yet, but she apparently was an actress and worked in the brothel. And just keep an open mind with this, guys. But I will point out that some people, may say, well, you're moving these rods on your own.
Right, yes. But as you can see, I'm not touching them. Both my hands are steady. I've got my hands into the middle of my stomach trying to act like a human tripod. when I'm doing this. So there's no way I'm moving on my own. In fact, I'm going to show you something. Can you point to Jeff, please, Ms. Murphy? Just go ahead and point to Jeff for me. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Can you bring him back for me? Point him back at the cameraman. Okay.
Yeah, so Miss Murphy knows that I'm here. You said that Miss Murphy likes me, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, she does.
And that she worked in the brothel and that she charged $15 for services.
Yes.